So today we will see how we have to do recording with LoadRunner. Because all the days with the introduction sections, I have shown you the how the script looks like, what is the difference of the LoadRunner script with JMeter script, how the look and feel, and how to name the transaction names that we have seen so far with hair file. But today we will make it with the help of directly with the tool itself. So what is first of all, what is recording with the directly tool itself means automatically LoadRunner will set the proxy, because if you remember, if you try to recollect our JMeter recording, so what the steps we have followed there. Firstly, I have set the port number. Why I have to set port number means JMeter cannot listen system level communication. It can listen only port level communication. That is one important thing we have to remember for JMeter. It can listen only through port number only. So we have to set the port number, and the same port number I have to configure in my browser also. Then only JMeter can listen the communication that can produce the script. But in the LoadRunner, there is no such hectic job for us. You no need to put any port number. Simply you can do the recording. You have to change some of the recording options that I will show now. How we have to do the recording, what are the common issues that we are going to get, that quickly we will show, and how the filtering that has to be, how the tool directly that is making the filtering, and how the correlations, automatic correlation scanning is also there in this, and recording report also we are going to get here, and the transaction names also automatically we can keep. Like we will see all the pattern we will see today in LoadRunner scripting section. So as you know, this is the tool virtual user generator, which is going to generate the script for us. So any application we can take. For today time being, I am taking the web application, which is the blazedemo.com only, as you have much familiarity with this application. So I am just taking this blazedemo only just for our walkthrough. This is a basic application where we can do the booking of the tickets. Like we can choose any of the flight, and we can give input our details, and we are going to get the particular ticket ID as the response. So this is a simple flow that we are depending on this application today to see the how the recording option is there in LoadRunner. That is our primary agenda, not the application. So now let us take the new script and solution, and which is a protocol itself is web protocol. So by default in the LoadRunner, at the time of recording, you will be having one recording options will be there that by default you can change here. So here what options you need to change means by default this is the option. Whenever you open your LoadRunner, whenever after installing your LoadRunner, you are going to see these main options. Out of that, this network, they have set this network to socket level data. So we have three options here: socket level and VNet level, and both. So if you can see, this is the capture level. So let me keep the default option socket level as it is. So this is the first option. Now, if you want to record, I'm not going to tell much about recording options now. This is one complete session I need to make you understand all the things. So just for time being, I'm not changing anything by default. Now here we are having different approaches. The first one itself is through web browser we are going to take, and I can see list of browser already installed on my browser on my laptop. So these are the three browsers that have been already installed. I am going with the Firefox, and this is the URL. So this URL I just copied from our browser itself. So this is the URL https www.blazedemo.com. The same URL you need to copy and paste here, which URL you want to start. And again, you have the two options. You want to record immediately, or you want to perform something after some delay, but better go with the immediate recording. Now, if you just click on start recording, now observe, this is going to invoke the, it should invoke the https-www.blazedemo.com. But if you see, the events are continuously they are running here. If you see here, these are the events that indicates that your script is going to generate here. Now here you can add the transaction names by clicking on this insert transaction at the time of recording itself. After recording, if you are going with the browser, that is not good, right? Because you need to identify which call belongs to which transaction. That is taking a lot of time. So this is a good option. You can directly click on this and you can add the transaction. This is the second transaction, because the first transaction I have already launched this application. First transaction one is done. Now second transaction, I'm just mentioning the names to see. Click on find flights, something like I am writing. Click on find flights. So one thing that you need to remember, whenever you are writing one transaction, after that only you have to perform the job. First thing is that you have to keep the name, then you have to give this OK also, because in the JMeter there is no such OK button. Why I am telling this means, if you are habituated to JMeter more, you are not going to keep this enter. Directly we will put the name and we will do the transaction. That is not going to record under this transaction. That's why we have to be cautious. So I just have given the name of the transaction to. Now I am changing the stations from Boston to something like London, or Boston to Dublin I will keep, and clicking on the find flights. Now you need to close the transaction also. So just observe the scripting process. Whatever the transaction you have opened, you need to close this by clicking on this. It will show what of the list of the transaction that is already open. Now if I close on this one, second transaction is closed now. Now you have to keep the third transaction name by giving this insert option. Now my third transaction name is choose this flight. Just whatever I am seeing on the UI, that only I am taking. Choose this flight I am taking, and I need to give this OK as well. Then I am choosing the this flight number 12 and choosing on this one, and you need to close the transaction also. Remember that one, you need to close, and again you need to open one more transaction because you are performing the action. So this is the one thing you will practice, then only it is habituated to us. Then the last transaction, this is something like purchase flight. So this is the last transaction. I just have given enter there. So I am going to give some dummy data here. So this is I'm just clicking on purchase flight, and here you can have two options. Your script is already completed, you can end the transaction, or you can directly stop the transaction. Both does the same job. Let me end the transaction properly, and here this is for the stopping the recording. Once you click on the stop recording, your script is going to generate in the virtual user page. If you identify, the browser is not the regular browser, this is a proxy browser. If you see about this browser, this is a proxy mode browser. It has opened in the private browsing mode. That means the proxy version is opened already. Who is going to set the proxy means you are not manually doing. In the JMeter, you have to do manually. You have to set the proxy. We have to do the changes which are not automatic. But here in the LoadRunner, JMeter itself, the tool LoadRunner itself is opening the proxy version of the browser, and you can do the job here, that is opening your application. Now let us see, the recording is completed now with the help of our browser. So directly we can see what the script itself is containing. So here we can see the report as well as the script. First let me go to the script itself. This is the action.c. If you see, this C language file is the our script, which is of HTML5, the number. Now you can see the total number of lines approximately. I can get lot of code today. 1034, almost 1k lines of codes have been added for this script, which we have performed only 4 transactions. But here if you go, the request by request, if you see, yesterday I have told you these are the request. So if you see the request by request, is required for me detect portal something .firefox.com, is this is my actual scope DNS? No, because I am not going to hit this DNS. This is not my scope. Why unwanted traffic is recorded means that is common behavior of the browser recording. This we cannot avoid, because whenever you are accessing any application with the browser, that will redirect from one application to one application. This is very common. So you have two options. Either you can select and delete, or we can do one more thing also. That is a smart way. See here in the recording report. Whenever you open this report, you will see the domains. What domains the application, what domains the LoadRunner tool it has just recorded. You can select which domain you want, and you can regenerate the script. So now see here, this is showing me out of this all these domains. Let me go with one by one. This prodperfect.com, this is not required for me, and mozilla.org, this is also browser specific domain calls, and I don't want these calls also. So I am, if you see, whenever you are just clicking on this, you can see the option regenerating option. So if you press this regenerate, your entire script is going to generate one more time. You don't need to perform the operation again and again. You don't need to go to the browser. You don't need to record again. The tool itself is doing this job for you. Let us see. So let me remove unwanted domains. This mozilla.org is also unwanted domain for me. Blazedemo.com, which is the main domain, which is my target application, which is my scope. I am keeping it as it is. And firefox.com, not required for me. And o.pk.gog, this is a API call. This is also not required for me. And amazontrust.com, this is also not required. Mozilla.com, not required. digiset.com, not required. So what I am keeping is, out of all these domains, I am keeping my scope application, which is blazedemo.com only, which is containing 9 requests here, which is having some amount of data. So now I am clicking on this. Just before the clicking, just see the script. This is having lot of calls, which is almost 1k plus lines of code is there. Now you no need to do, you no need to go in depth of these calls. Directly you can depend on this report, and you can simply click on regenerate. It will take little time. Are you sure you want to regenerate? Yes, it will take few seconds only, and it will regenerate the script for you. Now if you see the script, which is action.c, this is your script. If you see, the script now is containing 139 lines of code only. Earlier the script was almost 1000 plus lines. Now this is only 139 lines. That means this is your accurate script. In this way, you can depend on this recording report, which is very useful for us. You no need to spend lot of time. You don't need to waste lot of time by identifying which request belongs to our domain. In the JMeter also we have the filtering options, but this one is like you can see immediately, and immediately after recording itself you can disable what requests are required, what requests are not required for you. Yeah, let us go call by call now. So if you can see, this is the first call, line number 16 to line number 23. Yes, this is touching my URL, which is blazedemo.com. So let me go to the, if you perform the recording, the first transaction name I am keeping it manually for time being, because if you remember at the time of recording, I have started my recording with the transaction number 2. So where is the transaction? Here, line number 73. This is the transaction number 2 I have started. So let me see. I have clicked on the find flights button. So where it is going to end, automatically that is showing us here line number 89. Completely this is my transaction number 2, because the tool itself is directly giving you today. You are not manually identifying which request belongs to which transaction, because you have given the names there. So I have ended the transaction of 2, and immediately I have started the transaction number 3. But if you see one thing here, line number 89 and 93, one middle in between this one line is added extra. What is this means? LR think time. That means I have waited 41 seconds of time here without performing anything. So what is the purpose of this means? Actually, this is recording your actual behavior at the time of recording. Whenever if you are waiting for some time, that is even recording the time also. Because at the time of closing this transaction name, I took some time to explain. So that one also recorded by LoadRunner, which is LR think time. You can disable them. You can modify them later. Let us see. Let us go with the basic raw script today. So the third transaction name, choose the flight. That is also straight away one call is there. So we have chosen one flight, which is from one option to one option, like from port is Boston I have chosen, and to port is Dublin I have chosen. So the same request is being printed here, and the third request is completed. Immediately I have started the fourth request, which is purchasing flight. Now that is going to end in the last, and you can see directly the script itself. So this is the general way of recording the script with the help of browser itself. Majority of the times we are depending on this browser only, because HTTP header file and any fiddler file, they will take a lot of calls, lot of unwanted calls in real time. So if it is with LoadRunner, majority of the times our browser will help. If browser is not going to help, we need to change the recording options. That I will show some critical applications. So better we will understand the scripting point of view in this manner. So if you see the recording report, now we can identify some more details in this report, like what are those means correlations. So what is correlation? We have already seen much about the correlation in geometry sections. So if some value that we are having one difference of the particular value, like if we are at the time of recording, we are getting different types of values or different types of dynamic values, that they are automatically identified by our tool itself. That is the sorry, that is the good thing about LoadRunner, where you can see this directly in this design studio. So this is the option design studio. This one will automatically scan your correlations, any parameters are there, so that one will be shown. If you see here in detail, this is the attribute that is being listed, identified at this particular place, which is in the correlation format. And one thing is that this may not be correct, this correlation what your tool is getting, so that may not be correct. If you just click on that, that is directly going to add the correlation function in our script automatically. If you see, the correlation is already done at the line number 95. This is the correlation. Just I have given a click and the correlation is done. This is the function. I haven't even written, but the correlation is done by the tool itself. This looks very simple, but not trustable. That's why we are going to manual correlation. Let me do the manual correlation only. So we will take, I'm just giving the undo. I'm not doing any changes. So what is the pattern that we need to follow here is, we have to record the application and we have to compare it for 2 times to identify the whether the correlation is there or not. We have to follow that standard way first. So let me record the script for one more time. So you are getting right why I am going for recording one more time. The script means the same flow you have to record for 2 times. Then only you can keep the. Then only we can identify what values are changing, because dynamic value, the word itself is, that is going to change from the time to time. If you are talking with application, so that application will produce dynamic values for every second. They will throw you in return for every particular iteration. They are going to throw every time. So these values you need to identify first. If you want to do correlation, means you have to identify first of all what is the dynamic value. That then only you can do. You can identify what are the boundaries. Then only you can write the functions. If it is JMeter, we can do the boundary extraction, or if it is some load runner, we can write the web break save param function, which we have written already in the last week sections. So web break save param function. So anything based on the identification, the first thing is that identification of this dynamic value. Then how I am going to identify means, there is one simple option, is record the same script. Understand, the same script for twice or thrice or even thrice also, but I am going with the twice, and then you just compare. This is the one better way most of the people will follow. If you gain experience on one particular application, if you are doing the work on the application for more number of months, then you will see and identify that is a dynamic value, this is a dynamic value, like that. But this is the initial stage. We have to learn in this way. We have to record the script for 2 or 3 times, then compare that one, then we can identify whether that is a dynamic value or not. So now let me do the comparison. So I have done the recording for 1 time. This is my script which is recorded for 1 time. Now I am just taking this for my comparison purpose. So how I am comparing means, You can use any of the tools. You can go for the online comparison, or let me take the text comparison for today. So this is the website text-compare.com. So here you can do just the comparison your script, because your script is completely written format script. So now I brought one time recorded script. Now I have to get the one more script, then only I can do the comparison, so that I can identify the dynamic values easily. So quickly let me go to the another script. So I am preparing one more script now, which is web HTTP HTML protocol. Now now I am recording the same flow by taking this browser-based recording, which is my Mozilla Firefox, and the application itself is the same application, blazdemo.com. I am not going to change any option. So now if you see, if I am clicking on this recording, existing browser is going to close, and then only your new browser is going to in place. Yeah, if you see, the taskbar automatically closed Firefox, and it is opening one more Firefox of proxy version of Firefox. Understand this one? This is the proxy version of Firefox. So it will take little time to launch, because we are logging in as a private browser. So the caches, cookies, they won't be saved. So will take little time to launch. That is very common behavior. Now the first transaction launch is already completed. I am going to take the second transaction, which is my transaction names. There may be difference. I may not keep the same transaction names. Find flights. This is my second transaction. I'm just clicking on here. Earlier I have taken the same flow you have to take. That is the better way. I forgot which options I have taken earlier. I'm going to my previous script, or let me take the let me go with the Boston to Dublin. I think these are the two values. The transaction number 2 I have to close. Before performing, you have to close the transactions, and you have to keep the transaction of the next one. This is a mandatory. Then I am choosing the flight. I think I have chosen the flight number 12. So I'm going with the same flight, and I am closing the transaction. I am performing the last transaction, which is the transaction name is purchase flight is the last one name. Just I am repeating the same flow here. If you understand the process, it is very easy. I am repeating the same flow. I am not changing anything. Any URLs are also not changing. I am just performing the fourth transaction. Purchasing the flight is already done. Let me close the transaction, and let me close the script. So now this should get us the one more new script. Yeah, if you see again, these are having a lot of calls are there, but this has remembered, LoadRunner has remembered your previous options. Automatically they have been disabled this time. If you see, this is also one more comfortable thing for us. I haven't disabled them right now. Previously I have done this operation. LoadRunner remembered all these, and Google API calls also not required for me. So without regenerating, before regenerating, I could see 150 lines of code. Now let me regenerate the script by keeping only my domain blazdemo.com. Let me regenerate, because you have recorded the same flow for 2 times means you should get the similar amount of script. Yeah, if you see the similar amount, 135 136 lines of code only I am getting. This is my new script. So simply I am giving just copy and pasting in the text comparison, where my previous script is already pasted. This is my previous script, this is my current script. If you understand why I am doing this means, this is the usual way and easy way majority of the people will follow, comparing script side by side, so that you can identify which values are being changed. If you see, these are the changes that you can identify. All the green colors indicates the changes at this line. Now based on this, you can identify which values are dynamic values, which values are static values, that you can identify now itself. Yeah. So now we will come with line by line. If you see, the first script contains this URL, which is web underscore URL, something like JavaScript call, that is missing here. In the second, whenever you recorded for the second time, that is missing here. That request is you are unable to see at this particular lines. But if you see, the same request that is printed in the little late sections. The same request, if you identify bootstrap.min.javascript call. So the same script the same call that is you are going to find, and the table.js call, that is also okay. Some kind of request, some kind of differences we are going to see. You can ignore all these types of changes, they are not going to affect much. And cookies also, web underscore add underscore cookie, this is a cookie function. We have already discussed about this in the web function section. So this is a cookie function where it is storing the cookie of the your particular session. So the cookies will be definitely, they are going to vary from time to time, and this one also you can ignore for this time. This is also not a dynamic value. And here you can see this is a static value I have written on my own. Click on find flags, I have written here, and here I have written just find flags. This also doesn't matter. And this is also another cookie, they will definitely change from time to time. They are also not a big issue. And this is the transaction name difference, this is also you can ignore. And here think time is added, here no think time is added because I performed a little late in the first time, later I performed quickly for second time, so that is the only reason. In this way you can identify. And again here if you see, this is the particular input data I have given. All the values here highlighted here are parameterized values, they are not correlation value, because I have entered the values through my keyboard. Like this first name is FN, second name is ASDF, something like city is like this value. This type of values I am entering through my keyboard. That's why they are your parameterized values. They are not your dynamic values. Application is not producing these values. Hence, they are not dynamic values. You can ignore them for your correlation. And any other things means there is no correlation we have identified in this script, because you haven't performed any login. If you perform login, definitely there will be one correlation will be there. So this is completely a script without any correlation. So now you can directly go for the execution. So this is the one way that majority of the people who are using LoadRunner, they will follow. Or we can even have the inbuilt tool comparison itself, because if you are unable to open the application, web application in your office machine, you can directly depend on this tool comparison also. Here in the tool section, there is one comparison is there. So we can select the file, and we can even depend on the which file you want to compare by choosing some external file. Then you can you can cross compare which script you want to perform. If you can take the location, so where your previous scripts are there, that you can take, and you can do the apple to apple comparison. That is one good way. So why we are doing this comparison is, again, stick back to the basic. We are in the process of identifying correlation. So if any correlation is there, your script is not going to work for more number of times, because your script will contain recorded time dynamic values only, which are not useful for your replay. And there is one more way to identify correlation, which is simply replay your script. If it is passing, then there might not be any correlation. If script is failing, then there must be some correlation values. You have to fix the values, then only your script is going to work. Now, let me give a replay button so that it is executing transaction by transaction. You see here, and the execution is completed within 7 seconds. So the script status you can see which is started at this time and ended at this time. So this is the response. The response we can see in the output logs. So let us analyze this output log as well, which is the code generation. There you can see how the execution has happened, and how the recording time, at the time of recording also what happened, that one also we can see. Yeah, if you see, this is the recording time log, sorry, this is the code generation time log. So what the values that we are hitting the server, that you are going to see here in the complete of the section. For identifying any of the correlation value based on the boundaries, we are depending on this type of the application. Yeah, now let us find what ticket ID we are getting this time. So for that, I am taking the keyword. This is my keyword only. Or you can identify thank you for purchasing. This text also you can copy, and you can search in this script. So if you understand this, then only we can do the next level of scripting, because you need to be familiar with whatever the options that we are having in LoadRunner compared to JMeter. What differences are there? If you are familiar with the script, then we can go with scripting challenges in the next sections. Yeah. So now if you see, this is the message: thank you for purchasing the ticket today, for your purchase ticket today, and this is the ID I am getting for this time. That means which is 175. Let me copy paste. So let me rerun the script for one more time. Sorry. I want to show, because we are hitting the proper URL or not, that I want to show. So this is one ticket ID that I am getting for the execution one. Let me rerun the script quickly for one more time, because the code generation log is the one where you can see your what your requests are making, what response you are getting. Initially, you will see this replay screen. This will let you know what type of execution, how the execution is happening. Entirely you can see in the replay log. But here in the code generation log only, you can identify which type of response you are getting. Yeah, let me find. Yeah, this is the message that I would like to identify. Here is my ticket ID, which is 658. So this is going to produce for us that is different. The previous one is different, this is different. Both look same. The last few numbers are matching, but that is different. Earlier that was different value, now this was something like different value. So if you keep on executing with the load, if you are getting multiple ticket IDs without any issue, then your correlation is already fixed. Because I'm giving it in overview. If you are seeing any of the issues for getting of the ticket number that is not going to print, then you can identify there you are having the problem with our script. You need to modify the changes, because that is not useful for printing with the load actually. So mandatory scripting enhancements are mandatory for us. Then only we can do the proper performance testing, script fixing. Because what enhancements we need to do means what we have done in our JMeter, all we have to do here mandatory. The very first enhancement is correlation. Because the process, stick back to the process, here we are recording script, and after recording we are doing replaying, then we are understanding anything we need to change, like any modifications, any parameters we need to change, that we are identifying. And mandatory enhancements we need to follow, which are: the first one is correlation, and second one is parameterization, and the last one is assertions, we will call in JMeter. This we have already seen, but here we are calling them as verifications. These are mandatorily you have to perform. These three steps are mandatory. Then after this enhancements, any challenges are there, they are optional. The challenges will be there in every script means definitely not every script is having challenges. May or may not be, because some scripts require challenges to be implemented, because your client will expect something from you, like you need to do the booking like this every time, the execution has to taken place in this manner. So that type of instruction if the client is giving, then you have to implement. Challenges are there. If client is not asking any additional special modifications, they are okay with the script what you have prepared. Just they want to focus on the only load. After you are giving some load, then how your application is performing. So that type of activities if client is expecting, then the challenges are optional for it. So that is one thing, and this is the overview that I would like to show today with the help of browser recording. Now let us take one more sample script. So that one we will see the what type of correlation values that I am getting, that we will see. Yeah, now I would like to take this application, which is pet store application. So this is also web application, pet store application. Just for the walkthrough, we need to enter this URL and we need to enter the store by clicking on this. Then we do have some of the options here. Whether I'm not sure our sign in is still valid or not. Let me create something quickly. Sign in user. This may Yeah, this is already expired. My session is previously I have created something. Let me try. Let me because with this you can see the correlation, because the pet store definitely will be having some correlation. User story Kalyan 01 and password is password 01. Sometimes it will work. Sometimes it will throw 500 errors because this application will not allow the data all times. This is very common behavior. I'm giving some dummy data to fill up this form. Just username is Kalyan01, password is password01. I'm just trying to save. Yeah. Now I have logged in. So now this will work for 1 or 2 days only until they take the server bounce. This will be working. Yeah, now I have logged in successfully. Now I will just record this script. I will just go with the some flow. I will go with this. Now I will try the same script. We will try and we will see the correlation values. What are the values we are going to see or not. So for that, I need the browser URL. I need the application URL which I can get from my browser. So this is the application URL, HTTPS. So you always have to copy the complete URL, because with this only you are able to directly you are going to hit the application. So now let me take the one more new script. So for that you can depend on this HTTP HTML protocol and just click on create. Think I missed some. No. Yeah, this is my script number 7. So here at the recording, you need to input your URL, which is HTTPS. This is a secured application, and petstore.octopath.com. This is the browser I would like to hit, and through my web browser. I am not depending on the traffic file, which is hair file. I'm not depending. I'm directly recording with my browser, which is with Mozilla Firefox. You can take whatever the browser you want, but I'm comfortable with Firefox. That's why I'm going with Firefox. So here recording options also, I'm not going to change any option as of now. Yeah, if you see, all these URLs are already excluded in the previous sections. You are not adding them in your script. So LoadRunner tool automatically filtered these options. If you see the Google APIs, you are not adding in your script, and DigiSet also you are not adding, and Amazon Trust also you are not adding. So LoadRunner automatically saved this list for your future filtrations. Okay, let it be. So I am starting. I'm just clicking on the recording so that it will give you a warning saying that Mozilla Firefox, you must close this one. If you are not closing, also fine. That one will automatically closed by LoadRunner. Yes, and automatically invoked also. Yeah. Now it will take little time initially to launch the application, because this is the first time hitting from this browser. Yeah. Now if you see, the recording events are also getting increased. That means your script is going to generate in your LoadRunner tool. Yeah. Now let me put the transaction names quickly. The transaction number 2. What is my transaction? Enter the store. That is my transaction name, because what I am seeing on UI, I am keeping that only. If you observe, I am seeing this in the UI. We enter the store. So I am typing the same thing here to remember in future also. Like whenever you see the script, you can remember all the things what you have performed. So just giving the OK is mandatory, and I have performed the transaction, and you need to close the transaction. That is a mandatory step. And the third transaction, which is my sign in, I would like to sign in. So I am keeping the click sign in button. So I am just adding this. Now, what is my credential? I have created Kalyan01 and password 01. I think I have given this only. So I am just giving a login button. Yeah, now sign in is completed. So you have to close this transaction. Then only that is going to store in between the naming convention. Yeah, now I have done the sign in also. I will purchase some fish. I would like to add some more transaction, which is the transaction number 4, I think. So click on fish. So the transaction names always remember in the proper format we are keeping in real time. Yeah, click on fish. The transaction is also completed. You have to close this. You have to open one more transaction, which is the 5th one. I would like to purchase the goldfish. So I am keeping the goldfish as my transaction name, but this you have to do in the proper namings. So what you are doing, that we have to identify, that we have to write. And I need to close the transaction. Now I'm going to add to cart. So here I have two options. I can add first one or second one. I would like to add the second one. And I have performed the transaction sixth one, and seventh one I am taking, and which is proceed to checkout. The same thing I am seeing on the UI, I am writing the same thing in my script as well. So I am not changing any options which are there. Defaultly I am using the same options. Proceed to checkout is also done, and the last transaction, which is eighth one, I would like to name, I think this is payment. Yeah, that's why I am giving payment continue. So payment continue, I am adding this continue. Now you need to close this. You need to open one more transaction, which is ninth transaction. This is payment confirmation page. This is payment confirm. So I am just giving the payment confirmation page. Yes, now the order is booked. You need to close this. And last transaction, we need to do the logout as well, right? Or sign out. The same we are seeing on this UI button, which is sign out. So I am giving the sign out option, and I am taking the complete script out of this. Now I am just exiting from the application. If we exit, it will directly take you to the LoadRunner recording report. If you see, this is taking little time because you have recorded lengthy flow. So yeah, if you can see, let me go to the script first. So this is the total script. We have received approximately 347 lines of code. We have received 350 lines of code. So now let us understand what the recording report is telling. So 8 correlations has been identified by the LoadRunner Design Studio. This is automatic correlation pattern, but you are not going to depend on this. For time being, don't use this automatic correlation. You don't learn things quickly. So these are the domains. Some of the domains are already disabled by LoadRunner itself because LR tool has remembered your previous choices. So this Mozilla.net, which is also not required for me. Now, if you see, your domain octoperf.com is your domain, your scope URL, that is request, that is having 29 requests, and remaining all these are unwanted calls. So I am ignoring them, and I am regenerating my script, which should generate your script for one more time. You don't need to perform the actions once again. Automatically tool is generating for one more time. Now let us go to the script by clicking on this action.c. This is your script, which is having lines now reduced to 313. Earlier it was 350 approx. Now 40 lines of code is again reduced, which is not required code. Now let us understand the script, what I have recorded. So let us see the script line by line. The transactions, if you see, the transaction is started from this 35 line, which is my second transaction. You need to name the first transaction. So the first transaction, I have to name it as launching. So you can write in two ways. You can use these two, or if you remember the function, you can write the function as well. So I will go with this button, which is LR start transaction. So that is bringing the function directly for us. This transaction I would like to name as launch, which is my first transaction. When this is going to complete means before second transaction, this is going to complete. That is very simple. So I am keeping at line number 36. This is my second transaction starting point. So it should complete before that. So this is here. I am going to end the transaction by clicking on this LR and a transaction. I copied the transaction name, just paste for pasting here. So this is the transaction name I am keeping for the first transaction. Now here, if you see, LR think time is added 35 here. You can disable this or you can delete also, because 35 seconds of waiting time is not required for our script. We will see about these timings later. What is think time, what is pacing time. Even though we are having think time in our script, how can we override them? So that one we will see. Now let us see the request. Now the first request is web URL, which is hitting the octoperf.com, is a proper URL. And the first call, this is launching this all these URLs. And now the second transaction, If you can see here, we are clicking on the entering the store button. That means this is going to catalog.action, the same URL in the user interface also. You are going to where is this? You are going to see this same URL. Whenever you are clicking this, this is going to the catalog.action, because you need to recheck for once or twice whether you are reaching the proper domain or not initially, or if you are having more number of calls, at least you can go randomly. So that is also fine. And remaining some calls are there, these .gif calls. Actually these are unwanted calls. Even though they are hitting your browser, they are not required to be a part of your script. If you find any unwanted calls like this, now I found these two calls, all these birds.gif, icon.gif, all these are actually unwanted calls. But if client is expected, they are more interested on these calls also keeping, you have to keep. But sometimes we can disable this if you don't want to load them again and again. For example, the first call, this you are not expecting to be in your execution, you can simply comment out by giving this star backslash and star, and you need to close your comment also. Otherwise your complete script is not going to be executed because you have opened the comment here and you forgot to close the comment. So entire lines, these treating as comment by your LoadRunner tool, this is not going to be the compiler, this is not going to be the even execution as well. Yeah, now let me close this comment. Just I want to skip only this particular request only. So I am closing this comment by writing this. So this is not going to be in our execution pattern. Now let us see some more request. And at the login part, I would like to see, because we are getting in the login only the values. Yeah, clicking entering the store, that is also completed, and the third transaction is starting into the sign in. Yeah, now this is interesting. If you see here in the sign in part, here you are having directly the J session ID value, which is a dynamic value. If you remember, any session ID value, that is a dynamic value, because every time you are not going to use the same session ID. So this is one dynamic value. To fix this dynamic value, you can do the correlation, you can depend on auto correlation, or you can do the manual correlation. So let us see how the design studio is working today. Let us see how this is going to work for us. Let me open design studio. Now this will print you, this will show you the what type of dynamic values are present in your script. If you identify, let me maximize it some more. If you identify what are the correlations are there, automatically they have been identified by our LoadRunner tool, but there is no JSON ID is identified here. That is the main drawback of automatic correlation. It cannot find all correlations automatically, even though it will do some of the correlation values automatically. But if you see here, this is the source page, this is the FP file parameter, this is the product ID, working item ID, order expiry date, new order, source page, FP. These values only brought, but not all values. We know by seeing the script itself, we have identified the JSON ID is a dynamic value, but JMeter tool didn't unable to identify this as dynamic value. In that case, you have to do the correlation. That is mandatory. That's why we are not depending on the automatic correlations. Yeah, that is one good example. Now if you see, this is the product ID. If you can see the product ID, I am clicking, and this is also a dynamic value, because the user is not going to purchase the same thing right every time. He is not going to purchase the same fish every time. He can see lot of fishes here. In the last execution, I found this, I purchased this, but the client is asking purchase this for one time, this for one time, this for one time, and this for one time. That means every time whenever you are executing in the load, you have to take different fishes. You should not purchase only goldfish. You can purchase angelfish, tiger shark, or koi, anything. You have to purchase these values. Then you have to capture all the values. You have to do correlation by identifying this product ID. Then you can use them in one of your executions. Like then you can do one by one in your execution. Because my job is I have to do the script by taking anyone, but at the time of running, the client is asking you should not take only one fish purchasing for 1,000 times, one fish purchasing for 2,000 times. That is not the proper performance testing. They will expect you purchase either of all these four equally, or all the four fish purchases should be there by after completion of your execution. Then you cannot record the script for 4 times. That is not possible. That is not the better option. You have to capture these values and you have to do the correlation also. So this is already identified by our design studio. If you see, I am going directly with this design studio button, which is the product ID. What you are going to see here, this is the product ID, which is F5FW02. So that I am doing correlation now. This value only I am doing correlation. So just take this and click on this correlate button. That's it. That is, correlation is completed. Now, if you see here, the previous button, which is, now let me search with the parameter. This is the parameter that is replaced already, product ID. So now you can directly search in your script product ID. But this is not the method we are following, because we have to do manual correlation only. Yeah, if you see, this is the product ID that is already correlated by using our automatic correlation. It has brought up, and if you can see here, these all the values are automatically correlated by this tool. So don't get too much confusion. We will do manual correlation first, then we will see automatic correlation is properly working or not. So you can select which value you would like to do correlation. That values also you can select. Now I would like to select this value also and do the correlation. And let me take the execution for one time. So that is going to show you which values that is bringing up. Now you can see the response time in our browser, in our output window. So here you can identify which values are being purchased today. What is the final value we are going to see here? So that keyword, by using that keyword, you can identify whether your script has done the proper job or not. Yeah, here you are going to see the order number. By using this order number, so many borders are there. It is tough to find quickly. Let me find something differently. I think, yeah, thank you. This message is also fine. This will let us know directly whether that has hit to this. Yeah, thank you. Your order has been submitted. Now you can see what order number has been getting for us, so that you can see and on what date this has brought up. So at 4:15 with today's date, because this is in different time zone. Here also you can see the same thing. Here this is at 4:26. So that is one different approach. So we can identify in this way whether the same whether that is being printed or not. So that we can see in the output logs also we can identify what type of values that we are going to get after running this script. Yeah, this is again a quick introduction class only. What we have seen today with the browser, how we have to do. In today's session, we have covered this, how we have to do the recording with our browser, and what are the options that we have seen, and how the filtrations request filtration has been done, and how the recording pattern is there, and how the scripting flow that we have seen today. So from tomorrow session, we will start the actual scripting classes.